Hi guys, my name is Christina and welcome to my channel, and in today's video we're gonna talk about covers. All the fun things that you can do with your covers and how to make it serve your story the best. So I just want to premise this video with saying there is no rule for the covers, really. There is so many ways to use them. There are so many other comics that use the covers differently. There are different companies that use covers different. There are different artists that have their own different cover style. So there's not really a rule. I'm just gonna tell you what I think, cool things that the cover can do for you and for your story. And then you can decide if you want to use it or not. And if you want to read my own comic and see what I'm doing with my own comic and my own covers and everything, you can actually read it online for free at thebookofcontradictions.com. I update a page a week, and if you want to go in more details and get a fresher updates and additional information such as backgrounds or sketches or deleted pages or everything in between, you could actually go to my Patreon and follow me there. Is just $1 to become a patron and get all the access to this and PDFs of the chapters and all the good stuff. I'm gonna link all the links down below, so if you guys are interested you can check it out. Also, I'm gonna quickly shout out my patrons. Because of them I'm able to continue creating my comic as I do right now, and they actually the inspiration behind me starting this YouTube channel because they boosted my little self-esteem. Thank you so much guys for supporting me, and now let's go to the video. Covers can do quite a lot of things. How I personally look at the cover, it's an additional page in your comic that can offer more information about your story, and the question is what you're gonna do with this, because there's many things that cover can do for you. We know the saying, don't judge the book by the cover, but actually this is what we're kind of trying to do with our cover. We're trying to represent what people gonna get if they look at our comic. So this is one role that the cover plays. Basically, it's the first and the only page you can throw at the people who never looked at your comic before, and you're gonna give them this one page, and you either gonna catch their attention or not. And by catch their attention, I don't mean put there something that will make people just go for it, but represent your comic correctly, so when they look at it, they will identify this as something that they would like to read. So when they go and they open, they continue reading and they're happy. This is one role that the cover can play. It basically promises you what people are gonna find inside. It is not necessarily just visually. For example, your story about zombies and apocalypse and all of that, you can put actual zombies and actual apocalypse context on your cover and visually let people know what they're gonna find inside visually. You know, they're gonna find apocalypse and zombies inside. However, it doesn't have to be visual representation. It can be thematic representation of the story, or it can be atmospheric representation of the story, or even intellectual representation of the story. If, for example, it's a comedy, you can just put something comedic and make people laugh with their cover, so people immediately know it's a comedy inside. It doesn't have to do something with an actual plot inside, but it has everything to do with the vibe and the humor and the atmosphere inside. Or, for example, if you have certain themes, for example, it's more philosophical, you can put some more philosophical context and philosophical vibe on the cover, so people know what it is about. Or, for example, if your story is very serious, your cover doesn't have to be flashy. It can be very monotone, minimal information, only to the point. Or your story doesn't have to have a cover. You can just say title so-and-so. For example, if your story is a continuation and you're understanding that who sees the cover actually sees not the story representation but the chapter representation, it's actually also a cool idea. You just kind of put the name of the chapter, for example, and let people be excited because they already know what the story is about, but they don't know what this particular chapter is about, and you give them like a little bit of information but just minimal, so they're already intrigued. So this is the main thing that cover kind of can do for you. It gives a promise of what lies behind the cover, and I think it would be mostly the main role for the cover for the whole story overall. But if you go in the covers of the chapters, I think you can do more cool stuff with your covers, because this is an additional page to your story, to your chapter, to your comic, what you're gonna do with this. It doesn't have to be a part of the story, but it's still additional information about the story from the angle that normal narration within this chapter itself wouldn't allow you to do. There are several things that I personally do with my covers, and maybe that can be cool ideas to start with. For example, as I started my comic, on the cover I would actually put a character that is gonna be a POV or important characters. So each cover would start with this character if this character is appearing in this chapter. So basically I'm letting my readers know, hey, if you see a cover and there is a person on it, when you read and when you find this person in this chapter, as this person appears, you know that it is important. So I'm letting my readers know that they might want to pay extra attention to what this character does in the scene, even though they might not acting outwards as the main character in the scene. Basically I'm giving my readers additional information and basically saying watch out for this one. I decided this is, for me, is a good idea for my story because I have quite a lot of characters and I don't like to introduce them in the way, boom, this is the important character, we're gonna follow them. No, I want to introduce them as you would normally. For example, if you meet people in the world and some of them will become very important in your life. For example, your husband, your arch enemy, or that girl that you really hate. Or for example, they're just gonna tell you something and give you a major advice that will change your life forever. You never know. I want to examine the story, but I also wanted to let my readers know to pay attention to a particular character right away. Another thing I'm doing with my covers is that I'm choosing to add extra information about the story that I wouldn't be otherwise able to give in the story as it is. For example, when I create my story, I like to think, well, who is telling this particular story? And as I'm following my different characters, I like to think that this particular character is telling this particular story. And my characters, they're different people. So for example, if I follow Sakai, one of the main protagonists, she is very open. We kind of see everything about her. We see her dreams, we see her visions, we see her thoughts, her contemplation. We kind of know what she's wondering about. We are aware. If she's not specifically aware about something, if she's not consciously knows something about herself, we are not going to get this information. And I have another character, another protagonist. His name is Kuroi, and he is more reserved. He doesn't share as much with us. And I like to think about it is like if the character is telling their own story to themselves. So Sakai will be very in contact with herself and will be open with herself, what is going on, what she's thinking about, everything. She kind of have this inner dialogue. However, Roy, he is more closed off even from himself. He doesn't like to think what he's thinking about. He doesn't like to think how I'm feeling right now, what I'm afraid right now, what is bothering me right now. He's not gonna think about this. He's gonna obviously experience all of this, but he is not gonna focus on this, and he tries to hide certain things. So for example, obviously he has certain stuff that is happening in his mind, but he will not tell us right away. The only times we have access to his deeper inner thoughts or some things that are actually bothering him, we're gonna get there when he doesn't have full control over his own consciousness. Basically, for example, if he's sick, or if he's unconscious, or if he's a little bit not thinking really rationally right now. So this is where we're gonna have glimpses where he kind of slips a little bit. This is the way of narrative that I chose for my story. In the covers, I have a little bit different rule. In the covers, I decide that I'm telling the story. In the covers, I am the person who allows you to glimpse certain things. This is a different extra narrator kind of thing, let's say me. So kind of the same thing that I did with characters when I represent them on the chapter cover, kind of letting know which character is important. With the same thinking, if I don't know new character that is important is showing up, I gonna be giving extra information. For example, sometimes something that, for example, happened between scene A and scene B, something that is not important to the plot at all, but it is a tiny glimpse additionally. Or, for example, I'm giving you a glimpse of the character's past a little bit. I'm not specifying whose character it is, what is going on, why I'm showing this to you. I'm not telling you any of this. I'm giving just a picture that is relevant to the story, that is not important if you miss it, but is a bonus to you when you understand what it means. I personally find that it's a lot of fun to play with this. I enjoy it for myself, actually. I don't know if my readers enjoy this. This is how I like doing it with my covers too. So I think it also may be an interesting idea. You kind of giving a little trailer or preview of what is actually going on. For example, if Kuroi is thinking about something, but he's not letting us know, I might give a little glimpse of the cover without context. In the end, it's all gonna come together. So this is one of the things that you can do. Another thing is that you can do with your cover, this is more drawing wise, and this is another thing that I'm trying to do for my covers personally, is to draw things in more details. Personally, it's just fun for me because I cannot afford drawing my characters in more details in the comic, because otherwise the comic will never be done, ever. For example, I can go and draw more details, spend more times making things more realistic. For example, in the comic, they're still more stylized. On the cover, there still has to be a little stylized, just because they have to belong to the same world. But I put a little bit more details. For example, if my character is going through the woods the whole chapter, and you know, she's walking a lot, and I'm not gonna draw a lot of dirt on her jeans, different tears. I will draw them a little bit on the close-ups, and I'm not gonna draw them on the zooms out, and I'm not gonna go in crazy details because I don't want to follow the continuity of those things. And honestly, this is sometimes too much details for the comic. What I will do, I just gonna go in all of these details in the cover, and I will just enjoy myself while drawing all of these details and also give additional information to my readers. So this is the third thing that I do with my covers. So this is it for this video just for now. I just gave you 3 things that I personally do, and it's just examples and invitation for you to try and, you know, experiment with your covers and have fun. So I hope it can be useful. I hope it is interesting. If you do your own comic and if you work on your own covers, let's talk about this. Let me know what you do for your covers and what your ideas, and if you agree or disagree with my approaches. And yeah, let's talk covers in the comments down down below, and thank you so much guys for watching this video. I hope you're doing great, and I hope you've been doing great. Just right to my next video when I'm gonna ask you to feel great again. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much guys.